nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. SEC and its policies rely on whatever Gary thinks. Bitcoin's a flight to quality. I heard that from Larry Fink. Every hour losing purchasing power on foolish outfits. It's not our fault. Blame the coal. It's the political cowards. When it comes to gas, our purchasing power just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats. Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this. Can't tell me nothing.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality. We're hearing from clients around the world.
Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as
Bitcoin, pumping, altcoin, pumping.
we are hearing from clients around the world.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Crypto, depending on how you think about it. And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a
Can't
flight
nobody
to
tell me
quality.
nothing. Bitcoin, pumping.
We are hearing from clients around the world.
Prepared for this.
What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I was talking to you pre-stream there, and the mic sound card was off. But hey, the market's pumping. We got to dive right into it today. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I was talking to you pre-stream. We see that the Bitcoin price. Look at this beautiful breakout. Beautiful retest right back down in the zone and this move back up. Now, while we're about to dive into a couple of really key stories here, not stories, some really important charts. And then in addition to those charts, we got some TA we got to do. I missed you guys yesterday. I had some issues with some of my cabling. I had to get some new cabling. But question is, are you ready for what it feels like we've just been waiting on forever? And it's only been about 70 days of this consolidation, but the markets are looking excellent right now. Everybody drop a 1 in chat if you're feeling grateful today. Drop a 2 in chat if you're ready for this bull market to be let loose. Do you think this is a bull trap? Let me know in the live chat and the comments down below if you think this is just a trap. I don't think it's a trap. However, I do think we might get a little bit of testation, making up words today, right around this level. Watch for some washouts. I do think we are setting up for the absolute incredible pump to that upside. So let's talk about it. Let's dive in to what we got. I'm going to go right into all the data today to keep you guys right up appraised of what's going on. Look at Bitcoin over $67,000. And remember, this was a key zone. The $67,000 mark was a very important level based on where a lot of previous price action had traveled, had changed hands, as well as it having been an order block that we saw on the charts. We'll dive into that TA in a bit, but we see Ethereum also back over $3,000, $3,100. We see BNB still under 600. Solana's at 170. We got XRP coming in at 52 cents, Toncoin at $6.70, Doge at 15.5. Cardano still under that 50-cent mark. Shiba Inu's making its way up the charts, as we could see over this last week. Avalanche still under $40. Surprisingly, one of my favorite picks for this bull market for blue chips. Avalanche and Near. We got Polkadot also up here at 723. Looks like that just jumped from 717 to 723. So let's actually take a look at that really quick. Let's see what's going on with DOT. We'll do some more TA in a bit. We just want to get a little peek at what's going on some of these projects. I mean, look at just making moves. But we cannot ignore the fact that we've also had these fast moves and then bleed downs, fast move, bleed down, fast move. But you see, look at these double order blocks right overhead. We can also see Filecoin starting to make some moves. And we got a very key trend line on Filecoin that we need to be paying attention to right here that we're essentially testing as we speak. What else we got on here? Let's take just a couple look at a couple things and then we'll get it going. ORDS still kind of that BRC20 narrative everybody was so hyped up about. Runes, you know, we had that one-day excitement, it feels like, and that kind of bled off, and that kind of hurt or at least suppress some of the bullishness in the rest of that BRC20 narrative area. But we can see this trend line right here, that this is, we have the higher low. We're just kind of fighting with this order block. But then also yesterday or the day before, sometime in the last 48 hours, we had ALGIX Labs suffered a pretty big security issue on there. I shared it on my Twitter. We can see that this resulted in the sell-off. This could be a good opportunity to be picking up. But let's go through some of the things that we want to go through today, and we're going to talk about it. Well, first things first, let's look at these the liquidation heat map here. We can see, look at this, slicing through this liquidation zone, getting us that quick sort of move up into the zone. Once the buyers are no longer there, we had a little bit of a sell-off, formed a higher low here, and now we're just doing the work, pushing up into this region. This now we could actually refresh this. This would likely, I don't know why that went to another page. Hold on. There we go. Let's go like this. Zoom in on this because this has moved since I opened this up. See, yeah, look at this, pushing above the, I mean, slicing through all these liquidation zones. It's going to be interesting if they're just looking, the market makers are looking to clear the liquidity and have this sent back down, or if we're going to get some buyers come in here, because we also know on Bitcoin, we also know not only are we clearing out that those liquidation zones, but we're also coming into a zone, look at this giant order block directly overhead, as well as this descending level of resistance right in this zone. So the question is going to be right now, is it a run for liquidity with you know, the big players in the space, and then have this come back, reset, and then launch? Is it a run for liquidity and then a crash all the way back down? Or is this setting up for the move to happen today? It is a Friday. We have a lot of things coming next week. I would hesitate to think that we're just going to get the breakout between now and Sunday. But hey, this market is wild. This market can do things that you cannot even imagine sometimes. You could have a $20,000 move in a day. And believe me, those days are coming. If you're excited about that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, because these markets are doing those bullish things that we like to see. And by the way, if this is your first time here, if you're new here, if you don't know who I am, it's all good. We're all family. I'm happy to have you here in the community. My name's Kelly Kellum. This is the BitLab Academy stream. We got some more things to talk about, so let's dive in. I do want to shout out what our channel partners with Discover Crypto and the HIT Network. Arculus, best cold storage wallet out there. You can head over to getarculus.com and use code LAB10 or DC10, either one, LAB10, and get the best hardware wallet out there. 3-factor authentication with the actual hardware device, which is like a credit card style thing that you put in your wallet. You have the wallet on your phone, and then of course your biometrics. So it doesn't matter if you lose your phone, doesn't matter if you lose the card. It's the most secure and I think one of the most robust cold storage wallets out there. But let's dive into what we want to talk about. This is, I mean, I'm telling you guys, you are not bullish enough on Bitcoin. You see all these, I've been posting these images of single dominoes knocking each other down. This is the flood of what we're having right now. This is the flood of what's happening with all these, not only institutional players, but big money, smart money, real money getting involved, because this is the best asset. This is the only asset of its kind in the world. Yes, we have the whole crypto market, but when we're talking about the regulated space and the fact that we have Bitcoin spot ETFs, this is the asset of the future when you're thinking, you know, state treasuries, government treasuries, banks, ETFs, storing your value into the future. And also because it's so early, yes, it's still early, even though we're about $67,000, so early in the development and the adoption phase of where we're at with Bitcoin. And we can see this right here. 937 financial institutions bought Bitcoin through the ETFs during Q1. That's 10 times more institutional adoption than gold. I thought gold was that safe asset. I think this is going to be a metric. I think this is going to be something that we need to pay attention to. There's been 937 financial institutions that bought Bitcoin since or during Q1 2024. That's 10 times more institutional adoption than gold. I think this is going to be a trend we're going to see move into the future, where gold was one of those safe hedge assets that you put 1, 2, 3, 5%. I think Bitcoin, I think it might shock people going into the next 3 to 5 years as people are really becoming more and more aware of this asset, aware of what it can do, aware that it's agnostic to the monetary failures of governments. This is the asset of the future, and I think we're going to be a little bit surprised to see that people are going to move a little bit more aggressively on this than they did with just the 1 to 2 or 3% hedges that they saw in gold. So if you can get behind that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join us here in the family if you're not part of the BitLab family yet, because believe me, we are going to do this together. That's what this is all about. Now, with that being said, we got some other really beautiful things we got to look at as well. Not only are institutions buying, not only do we have BlackRock, Fidelity, and Van Eck, and Vanguard, even one of the other largest asset managers in the world. They're not going to do a Bitcoin spot ETF, but they did just hire somebody very aware of Bitcoin. He, in fact, handled the Bitcoin spot ETF stuff, a big part of it with BlackRock. He's now the CEO of Vanguard. So I do believe they're going to start opening up the access channels for people, for their clientele to get exposure to Bitcoin through other ETF means. And we'll have to see what happens down the road. We see Meta, we got Alexandra G, we got Alper Turkoglu. Okay, not sure if I said that correct. Ruzba, what's up? Ruzba is always sending me wonderful things on Twitter. Tig Old Biddies, sufficient enough. I guess we could also say sufficient enough Tig Old Biddies. That just sounds a bit different. Shout out to the super chat from Tig Old Biddies. He said, good morning, fam. Kelly, you are looking at any deep-in swing trades going into the NVIDIA earnings report. Hope everyone is staying healthy and wealthy. I haven't done much trading in the last month, specifically because we had to do the rollover for the payment processor that we had on BitLab. And then I've just been doing a lot of back-end stuff. So right now with what I have, for the most part, I have a lot of the stuff in my portfolio that I've been stacking since February 7th. And this is kind of swung up and back down, but it's for the most part up. If we go to all time here, this is just on this portfolio. Of course, remember, I have other portfolios. So, but I mean, our Aerodrome, we made like, what was this? We made over $8,000. Ethereum, we had made money on before we moved out of that. But we've got, 6,000 on Near, only 400 on Avalanche. Avalanche has been relatively trading in the same range. Ondo up $2,000, Render up over 2,300, Fetch up 2,000, the Graph up 1,600, OrdiSwap down a bit, Florence Finance down a bit. But you see what I'm doing? If I make a pick for something that I'm doing a position trade on, and we have a little bit of a correction, I don't need to jump in and out of everything all the time. Now, it's different depending on what your strategy is, and it may be different depending on what your time horizon is for an asset. Typically, if you buy an asset, not typically, but in a lot of times when you buy an asset and it may dip or it may look like it's having some fundamental issue, you might want to, be aggressive about cutting your losses on that. But I've been doing this for a couple of years, and I understand this portfolio that I'm building for the next, I guess about 12 to 14 months. I'm confident that this dip, we'll see all these actually, when we rebound out of that and we get the reversals in the market, the large majority of these will be very, very in the green. So I'm not worried about it. So this is what you can do. When you believe in your diligence and you believe in what you're doing, you don't need to be so stressed. But I just want to come back to this heat map here. We had sliced through this zone. We got to pay attention to what happens here, because we still have a couple little zones that have popped up below us here at 66. Down here at 65. 65 is going to be an important number just based on this liquidation heat map here, in addition to looking at the price action on the chart. Coming back to 65, what is that? It's this level that we've already bounced on once. If we lose this, the next level that we're going to want to look at is almost, I don't want to say doesn't matter, but I would say this point of control here. But the point being is, wherever we do, if we do come below this, What we'd ultimately really like to see, and we may not get it, is a bounce somewhere that creates another higher low. So maybe somewhere in this region right here. Look at that intersection of this trend line with this descending level of resistance, this sort of inverted head and shoulders that we kind of broke out of. We also have another one right here. There's bullishness brewing on this midterm time frame, and then on the smaller term time frame, it was reinforced bullishness here. It was telling us it was trying to break out. So if we do come down, this would be a beautiful spot to test, and it would scare a lot of people, but sometimes you need to do that to flush out some of that open interest in the leverage positions. But we're seeing, like I said, 937 institutions buying Bitcoin, exposure to Bitcoin during Q1. We have senators out there just doing the work Bitcoin needs, that balanced voice that has some idea about what's going on here and that's not just bought and paid for by the Fed. We see this, but I don't know if I have the story up here, but also we saw that this was it. Congress wants to abolish the Federal Reserve. I don't think this is going to happen, but the point being here is there's becoming more and more eyes on the issues that we have with not only our economy, but our banking structure, our monetary malfeasance management system, which is our government. And so that just screams to why institutions and people are seeing what's happening here, and they are layering in to this, not to gold. So there is a new era happening right now, right before your eyes, and you're here before. Especially if you were here before Q1, you were here before all, these 1,000 institutions got here. So pat yourself on the back for that. We can also see right here from Gary Cardone, my boy over here. He said, U.S. lawmakers file SEC Stabilization Act to fire Gary Gensler. So people are becoming more and more aware of, basically fighting the good fight. In this case, I'd say that's anything that supports Bitcoin and goes against anything that opposes it. But we also can see the setup in terms of the data of what people are doing in the market. Over 16,000 Bitcoin have been withdrawn from Coinbase in the past 24 hours. Now, this was yesterday. This is yesterday. But the point being here is there's coins being moved off of exchange right now. People aren't moving onto exchange preparing to sell. Many of these coins will likely never be for sale again. I do believe that. People are becoming more and more aware. The longer you're in this market, the longer you want to be in it. So you can maybe take some positions that you take, hedge some of your, take some profit near a top, leave a good portion of it, and then when the market drops, you can add more to it. But for the most part, people are becoming aware that this is going to be the most valuable digital real estate in the history of the world in what's going to seem like in 10 years, no time at all, right? Things are moving quickly, and we need to stay prepared. Now, look at this. We're getting into that bullish setup. We're going to be diving into the charts here in a second. Bitcoin's perfect setup, building stronger and stronger. We're going to get a pump around May 23. Let's see what happens. Remember, I told you guys, May 22, May 23. I do think that's going to be a big deal. And that's next week, I believe, isn't it? So it's 6 days from now. So that'd be Thursday next week, right? I believe. Sometimes my math is bad. But what we're seeing is here, the total for crypto liquidity, it reached positive territory again. So the liquidity in crypto, money that's entering the space versus coming out, is flipped. We had this little bit of a negative tranche here. This is in the midst of what we just saw that pullback on, but this flipped back positive. But this is not the only thing that's flipped positive. We can also see that the Bitcoin ETFs have put together a solid 2 weeks with $1.3 billion in inflows, which offers the entirety, which offsets the entirety of the negative flows in April. We had some negative flows in April. This is represented also not only on the Bitcoin spot ETFs, but we can see it in the price action with this. If we double click here, this pullback that we've had, this was a little bit of that hedging at the previous all-time high, much like we've covered on here time and time again. But I'll show you one more time just so we can remind ourselves. This is the same thing that happened in December 2020. When we came up to this 15, 16,000, 19 previous all-time high, chop around, then launch. What are we doing right now? This is the same bar across. We're chopping around this area. We went a little bit above it. Now we're going a little bit below it. And we are setting up for something beautifully bullish. And the data just keeps getting stronger and stronger. Now we're also seeing these ETFs getting these strong inflows as well, putting them back around high watermark of plus 12.3 billion net since launch. It's just incredible how much money is flowing into this space. This key number, in my opinion, because it nets out inflows and outflows, which are normal. So there's more money that has gone in, but there's also been a lot of rotation from Grayscale. So it's net positive $12.3 billion. That is just absolutely insane what we're seeing. This is one of the reasons why we're seeing institutional investors and investment advisors starting to really, even if they thought Bitcoin was magic internet money 2 years ago, you cannot argue with data. When you see institutions like BlackRock and Fidelity and Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan, basically clamoring here with Bitcoin, they have to say, well, there must be something there. So even if they were reluctant to look into it before, now this is going to be on the #1 talking point with probably any financial services agent that's out there or institution, because this is the story of the next millennia. And you are here before it's all getting going. But this is also, it's not just these ETFs, these new ETFs buying. We can also see that Grayscale has flipped bullish as well. Grayscale, that outflow, that rotation out of Grayscale into other ETFs has started to not only diminish, but we're also seeing a little bit of net positive coming in on Grayscale as well. This is going, if this can maintain, this is going to remove a huge amount of selling pressure that was coming onto the market from Grayscale rotations. So this, I am so bullish on what's happening right now. I hope you guys are too. Everybody, I want to see some emojis in the chat. I want to see some bullishness. I want to see some just positive, COVID positive pal, says am the only one? Am I the only one? But we got to get into these charts. So let's run through this really quick. This goes back into the Grayscale thing as well. This might support some of that buying. Morgan Stanley has just disclosed a $270 million investment in Grayscale Bitcoin ETF. Morgan Stanley is the largest investment advisor group on earth. They are aping in. This is the signal. If you see any drop in price right now, even if tomorrow we drop to $42,000, there is nothing to be worried about in this space other than if you get emotionally triggered and you give your money to one of these banks. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to give my money to banks. I'm here to become my own bank and have that capital so I could take care of my family into the future. Now we can also see right here who's been buying the freaking whales. Look at all these emotional buyers and sellers trying to make the most of every different move. Stop all that nonsense. With Bitcoin, trade your alts. With Bitcoin, figure out ways to stack into Bitcoin. Take profits from your alts, put it into Bitcoin. Because we can see right here, whales have been the only one in the last one day and also the last 1 week consistently just buying, stacking in here. Whereas shrimps, which is 0 to 1 Bitcoin, crabs 1 to 10, fish 10 to 100, sharks 100. Look at this. Why? What the hell were they selling for? I'm sure this metric is going to change coming into tomorrow now with the market breaking around that $67,000 mark. And we can also see this from Kyung Ju. Bitcoin is in the middle of the bull cycle. Its market cap is growing faster than its realized cap, a trend that typically lasts around 2 years. So what we're seeing, this is what we're looking at right here. They just measured from the point of this flipping bullish, to the top, okay, to the top. Yes, a lot of people say this is the top, but this is also manipulated in some ways because the Chinese mining ban and also the huge amount of money printing that happened through here from the COVID global economic shutdown. So that also made the value of the dollar diminish in some regards as well. So you also had a little bit higher read here. In addition, there's so many different metrics we cover, but for lack of a better terms, we can look at either this zone or this zone. But either way, this is 2 years. 2 years into this. This one was obviously a little different. This is early on, but do we have about 2 years? That would put the bull cycle high around April 2025. There's no way we're going to know what the cycle highs is until, of course, after it happens and we've established a bear trend. Know that. We could get something like this. I think this is less likely. I think it's also somewhat less likely that we're going to get a full blow off top in this massive 85% drawdowns like we've had in the past. We have to be careful about what's going to happen in this cycle because it's like having a village with 7 people. And you plan out what the traffic in your town is going to be for 10 years based on the last 100. But then all of a sudden, they build a railroad hub right next to your town. Would you say that the traffic in that town would exponentially increase, stay the same, or diminish? The fact that you have this new railroad that basically ushers people in, that's essentially what these Bitcoin spot ETFs have done. In addition to not only being new capital inroads to Bitcoin, it's also becoming a massive awareness campaign because we're setting records with these ETFs, breaking, 152 out of 3,400 ETFs have hit the 10 billion mark, okay? Bitcoin did it. Not only have they done it, they're one of those 152. I think at least 2 of them are BlackRock and Fidelity. But in addition to that, we did it in, I think it's like a 10x rate of speed, breaking records of any ETF in the history of the world. So not only do we, let me say this again, not only do we have Bitcoin spot ETFs bringing this huge amount of capital, railroads, just access points directly into Bitcoin, it's a massive awareness campaign because they're also promoting those financial products. They're also institutional and retail investment advisors that are now learning about this because they're seeing all this data. They're seeing the appetite breaking records. And so they cannot ignore this any longer. This is why we see 937 institutional investments in Bitcoin in Q1 of 2024, which is about 10x the amount of investments you saw in that same time frame for gold. Bitcoin is the asset of the future, and if you do not participate in it, at least participate in being curious and diving in to learn about this because you are going to be left behind if you do not pay attention to this. That is the fact right now. Now, coming back over to these charts, because we got some stuff to look at here. We got to also talk about, we talked about this with Credible Crypto the other day as well, but we got to talk about this. This is a great example of what we're looking at here for the altcoin market cycle, and we're talking about that alt season. This is where we're at. Look at this, about up into this lower level. You can't see it here, but look at this consolidation, and this is where this is actually the start of the ICO craze back in 2017 when a lot of the altcoins started launching. But we can see this is where the dominance fell. This means a lot capital is moving was moving broadly into altcoins faster than it was moving into Bitcoin. And we see this is when you get the explosion. So right here, see how this is moving up? And then this is where the Bitcoin dominance breaks down. And what do we get? This is where you get the strongest part of the bull movement after this. We are in the same zone now, and there's no way to know if it's going to be next week, next month, the end of the year. But this is consolidating much like it has each time, and having this Bitcoin dominance still kind of trickle up, and we might have it trickle up a little even farther this time. There's no way to know. All we can do is keep our eyes peeled, but when this does break down, this will signal probably one of the biggest alt seasons that we've ever seen, because we're also going to have more people in the market. Understand that. It's all going to also depend somewhat on what that regulatory framework is around everything. And in addition to all this, let me go ahead and refresh this page. Come back down over here, global liquidity. We also see the global liquidity is ticking up here. It's finally somewhat, in some regards, somewhat bottomed here, and it's trying to fight to go higher. We also saw China selling I think it's like $55 or $52 billion worth of U.S. treasuries, which is, I think, the largest amount, either the largest amount they've ever done or the largest amount since 2007. I can't remember. But there's a lot of international monetary jockeying going on right now. In fact, we saw a little bit of our own, I won't call it stimulus, but buybacks of U.S. treasuries from Japan about 2 weeks ago, or a week ago. The money printer is going to be turned on sooner than we can snap our fingers, because we're already seeing different monetary mechanisms out there changing the nature of what the liquidity is available. When liquidity goes up, that is when you get these huge, I mean, we can see it specifically. The best way to look at liquidity, just looking at Bitcoin alone. This is positive liquidity. What do we get? Excuse me. What do we get in these elements of these time frames, these periods of positive liquidity in a market? Uptrend. What do we get in negative liquidity? Downtrend. And what are we at? We're on this. We basically had this. We're somewhere roughly about in this zone here, looking at where we're at here. Same thing here. We had the negative. We had the washout here, global economic shutdown, money coming out of the market. But then once this came back, retested, launch. So it came down, went up, retest. Do we get the launch next? Now we're going to look at some charts. We're going to look at Bitcoin and Ethereum and a couple other altcoins. But before we do that, I do want to shout out, we did the $100 giveaway. I drew it yesterday, but we got another one. And I think it is Teo Rodriguez in here? Because he is the winner, and I haven't been able to get in contact with him yet. But just want to give you all another opportunity. Our channel partners, Galactix, incredible, as I write right here. What is Galactix? Top tier Web3 iGaming casino, drawing in elements from RPG gaming with quests, and you go to different planets and you have everything from slots to card games to dice to a lot of different elements of just interactivity and community. There's so much more than just going and playing a card game on a casino. They are literally reinventing gaming and taking elements from not just casinos, but all kinds of different really cool gaming stuff. And you can, if you head over, always make sure that you have your VPN on when you're signing up for anything. I always do mine in Lithuania or Brazil, just because I want to make sure nobody can look into my computer, see where I'm from, or try and hack my stuff. So make sure you have your VPN on. Head over to this link right here. You can sign up, and when you do sign up, you can participate in a $25,000 referral competition if you do want to bring more people on. I'm not participating in that. I'm sharing this with you guys. They're just a channel partner. A couple good friends of mine I've known for 12 years, and when they showed me this project, I said, I got to help you get this out to the people. But if you retweet this tweet, you get entered to win $100 USDT. So retweet for a chance to win that right there. Get in on it. We got 2 people retweeted it so far. You got high odds at the moment. So shout out to them. Shout out to Galactix. And you can sign up with this link right here on this tweet. Now let's talk about it. Where are we at in the market? What's happening? Bitcoin is just feeling so good that it's, look at this, just looking so beautiful. So beautiful here. But let's look at some of the data points. Money flow flipped positive right here. See this? Money flow, this is a money flow negative. Negative money flow, and this is where it flips positive back into the blue, grayish and blue. And right there, this was signaling to us that as this came down, we have a little bit higher low, and the money said, we're stacking in. We're ready to go up. The money flow signaled us there. The VWAP signaled it too. Front ran this move. We also see the stochastics. The orange line came down and bottomed. It started heading up. The RSI came down and bottomed. Had a double bottom there. Started heading up. We had multiple signals there that this was trying to make that move. And look at this call. These bearish signals on the BitLab trading stack. We had a lot of weakness. It came down. We got the bullish signal here. Followed immediately by 5. I don't know if you can see it. I think there's 5. Yeah. Followed by 3 bullish divergences right in here. And this is where the price action actually went above the trend signal line, found support. So the move was trying to be initiated. We got a little bit of a breakout, and this pullback came down right to this trend signal line. Now we're still very far under this weekly VWAP right here. So we have to pay attention to this. So this is part of the reason why the price action also was kind of traveling sideways here, holding above the trend signal line. We see the money flow did flip negative again, and we got a little bit, the bears tried to wash it out, and then what happened? Immediately it just popped right through the trend signal line, and this weekly VWAP, but it wasn't clear yet. It wasn't a clear move yet because we had this deviation above, came down and lost right back through it. So in this case, the money flow actually flipped positive. So there's support behind the move before it happens. We have the rounding bottom. We have 2 bullish divergences here. We have 2 more bullish divergences here. This is all in the BitLab trading stack, which you can get over at lab.bitlabacademy.com/Kelly. We got the great deal going on there too. You sign up for the Discord, and then after that, it gives you the upgrade option for the courses and the indicators. But we can see the money flow flip positive. We had bullish divergences. We had the pattern was rounding here, and then all of a sudden we start getting this uptick in volume following the breakout. Look at this. The volume came in after the breakout of the weekly VWAP. We broke through it on the retest here. This is on this retest candle. Once we retested the next candle, that's where the volume came in, because now it's like, okay, we're through the weekly VWAP. Are they going to reject us back down? The fact that this held here told the market that this was positive spread territory, meaning we want to move this higher. So we have to pay attention though. Remember what we talked about in the liquidation heat map, that $65,000 level? Well, look at the weekly VWAP. It's ticking up now all the way up here. It's about 64,100 area. We have a order block right in this zone. And so the reason I'm pointing this out is if we get any sort of washout to the downside, which is very possible, if we get any washout to the downside, we have levels to be paying attention to below us that shouldn't make us so worried about what's going on here. Now, as in terms of where we're at right now on the price, this is feeling very good. And look at this inverted head and shoulders. We have this target right here that we measured out yesterday. See, this target is essentially exactly almost to the dollar. We're just a little bit short of it, of this target, and it goes right into this order block. So it makes sense if we hesitate a little bit here. But once we get into these very highly contested areas, and remember, I showed you that BBWP, the Bollinger Band width, the volatility, showing that volatility had been constricted long enough that it was giving a signal that a big explosion might come. So although this may look like it might be patient, there's a possibility that, either a big buy order or something happens to where they want to flush through any of the liquidation zones that we have directly, between this and this previous all-time high. And when we look at the levels here, we can see, let's actually zoom out on this. We have, we're kind of almost all the way through this. There's not much here at all in the 67 through 68, all the way into 68.5. If we come out to the 7-day, we're just looking at where the liquidity areas of interest are. So it gives us a better frame of reference as to what's happening in the charts. I mean, look at how much work this is. It's all this color that it sliced through. But take note of this down below. All of this liquidity down here. There is a possibility that they try to do another sweep. However, the market sentiment is feeling pretty bullish right now. And I think people are excited. Let's go to liquidation. There we go. And in addition to that, remember, as bullish as we were talking about, look at how high this is. As Josh calls it, the windshield wiper method. This is a very positive delta here. Very positive. This is all the way up. Typically, once we get all the way up here like this, there tends to be some move down that flushes it back out. So when this is very high, I'm reluctant to buy. When this is very low, I'm reluctant to sell, meaning if this is flipped back where this is red on the bottom instead of green. This is telling maybe we're a little overheated at the moment in this move, which is not a bad thing. Again, I still think, remember, May 22nd, why does this, I just did this earlier. May 22nd is that area on the chart that I have marked right here. Remember, we have a full moon coming that day. I don't trade on that, but I'm going to use it to reinforce some of the other things that I'm also seeing. Full moons have been bringing a lot of bullishness in the market over the last 6 or 8 months. Some of the most explosive moons happen within a day or two of that full moon. But we also have the NVIDIA earnings report, and we'll look at some of those AI plays here in a second. We'll look at Render and Fetch and Ocean and Near. But the earnings report May 22nd. But then we also have the ETH ETF January 10th deadline, like we had for Bitcoin. Similar one is here on May 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot coming up in this next week. And so I would be a little cautious within this zone for what happens. I do expect still a little bit more work to do before we continue higher. Ethereum also, I mean, look at this, kind of ugly inverted head and shoulders, but pushing up. Where to? Right into this order block, this red order block that's on the BitLab trading stack right here, pushing right up into it. And it's looking like we're trying to get stopping volume. It's kind of flashing. See how it's, ooh-wee. There we go. So we had some stopping volume continue, but this is showing that there's a little bit of weakness coming into these zones. We got the stochastics angled down. The RSI is looking a little weak in this zone. The VWAP is angled to the downside. Now, the flip side of this is a weekly VWAP is still all the way down here at 29.57. So realistically, a breakdown from here, a retracement anywhere in the zone. I mean, this would be a great zone to retrace right here. This 30,000 ETH, that would be phenomenal. 3,034 sort of zone, because look at these previous tops. You see this chop zone right in here. And we also have this trend signal line coming right up into this capacity. If we do get some sort of rejection on Ethereum, I'm looking for a bounce, hopefully somewhere in the zone. But remember, ETH is going to be a lot more affected by that news that's coming next week, May 23rd. And there's a lot of speculation going back and forth about, you know, I think I don't know if it was a post from Coinbase, but I'm seeing some people think that there's far too much bearishness around the likelihood that the ETH ETF does not get passed, and that there is a possibility that does kind of shock. That would be a huge catalyst for the market if it does. I'm 50-50 on it. I don't really have a lot of faith in Gary Gensler making that decision. Because it seems like they're still fighting over whether or not it's a security, et cetera, et cetera. But point being is, between now, my hat is crooked. Between now and May 23rd next week, I do think we're setting up strong bullishness on Bitcoin. On Ethereum, I think it's going to be contingent on, for the short term, not for the long term, for the short term. If that gets denied, likely be a little bit of a sell-off, a little bit of consolidation, and then the move. But if we do get it, then Ethereum, I think, will be let loose. We do see that the ETH to Bitcoin pairing here on the 1 hour has started to make a move, also on the 4 hour, but this has just been bleeding to the downside. But look at this. Where did it bleed into? This order block that we had from way back. But we're seeing came right down into the zone. But look at this negative money flow, money coming out of the ETH to Bitcoin pair. But we got these kind of trying to clip, rolling up. We have a lot of buying pressure in here, which is why these are green. Got the VWAPs angled up, stochastics angled up, RSI angled up, but these are getting a little hot, and we're sitting right at that contention zone, this weekly VWAP right in here. If we do get rejected here, what I'd like to see is this reject and bounce right about where this point of control is on the volume, this teal line, but also the trend signal line down here at 4572, come down, bounce in this zone, and then move up. If we get rejected, if we're able to hold support here, great. Then we're looking for a move up here to 4.7% of a Bitcoin, or 4.7. You can see on the bar here. But let's look at NEAR. Let's look at our girl NEAR, because she's just been steadily climbing here. How many of you guys hold NEAR? What price point did you get NEAR at? I'll show you where I got it at. This is where I bought NEAR. Boom. I shared it with you on the day I bought it. We got it down in the 270 and 270 under $3 range, and this has just been absolutely ripping. I mean, we had this nice rippage, a little bit of a consolidation sell-off, and we've kind of made our way back up. Now, looking at where we're at right now, again, this is, I think, going to be somewhat affected by what happens with the NVIDIA earnings next week. Now, remember, just because they have great earnings doesn't mean that's going to send the market, because they also have these things. It's almost like betting. They also have these estimations or these projections or this, I forget what the term is, not directions. Suggested levels that they think, predictions about what the earnings will be. If they fall short of that, even though they have great earnings, that also adds some chop to the market. So we have to pay attention to what's happening next week. I do feel like there's more and more computer systems and graphics processing, these AI systems, and just being more and more integrated with all these different AI modeling and computer modeling of all the things that have been developing over the last years that are really starting to get deployed. So there's a chance that they overshoot again. Who knows? TJ Miller doppelganger, is that the voice? Hey guys. But NEAR is looking good. We got to pay attention to this trend line right here. Boom. And we've got almost like, we almost have a big, what do you call it? Ascending triangle. Where we have this kind of breaks down. This is kind of ugly over here, but then this, you know, it's kind of multiple different things now that I look at it. We got to actually have a rising wedge. So let's delete this. So we got, yeah, we're a bit in a rising wedge here, but we're right at this contention point. You see this order block right here, but also this previous range top and this previous range top, these two zones. Price action is right now kind of pinned in this zone. If the price does reject here on a small time level and we come down and find support in this region, that would be ultimately the most bullish. Finding support here, maybe even having a small washout down to, you know, 660, 667, 660, no, 675 sort of zone, a fake out to the downside, then launch, that would be phenomenal. We do have positive money flow here, but it's already starting to roll back over. So I'd just be watching for a little bit of chop within this area and before it decides which direction it goes. I do think, barring some catastrophic economic news that really shakes the entire market, not just NEAR, I do think that if we do break bearish, because these tend to break bearish, but it can be for a very short period of time. It can be something like this, where the price action comes down and then tests down in here, and then we kind of, you know, chop like that and then move to the upside. So don't have your heart broken if this breaks bearish. This pattern is telling you that there's a likelihood of that happening. That's what a rising wedge is telling you. Consolidating with weaker and weaker bullish impulses on the way up, which forms this pattern. And so if we do break down, I would say once we lose 681, which feels like a pretty big move from here. This is a 12-hour chart. Yeah, this is the target I'd be looking at. I'd be looking at potentially even layering in there and then maybe layering in some more in this region down here at 5. But I'm leaning more bullish. If this is able to take this out and break bullish out of this, then what do? We do a Fibonacci, option F, because this is flirting with the, I do believe this is flirting with all-time highs, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So then we take this measurement from the top here to the bottom here, and we have a fib extension that takes us, I mean, look at this. If we break out and take out this previous high, the next level we're watching is 1057 for the 1.382, and the next level we're really watching is this 1158. Now to feel good buying under 3 all the way up to 1158. Let's go. Let's look at stacks, and then we're going to look at fetch. Stacks, descending, falling wedge. What do we say about the rising wedges? Falling wedges tend to break bullish. So let's go ahead and turn off some of these lines and look at the look at what's going on in this chart. W pattern, push up again, try to push back down, but we're getting higher lows now. This is starting to round out. You see this low, lower low, lower low, equal low, higher low. I'm expecting a little bit of, there's no way to tell with this because of the people feel like the BRC20 thing, they're hoping it all to happen immediately right when Arun's launched, but I'd be watching for this to chop in the zone. If we're able to take out this area right here, 218, I'd be watching for some sort of interactivity, potential retest back down from this zone here at 245. Has all this price action from before. That's why we have the box on it. So I'd be watching this zone. If we're able to clear this zone, we're likely making, you know, strong headway to the upside. But we had negative money flow on that. We have, it's looking not super promising in the immediate future. There is the fact that the price did find support here on the weekly VWAP and trend signal. So, but it just looks a little weak to me. It looks to me like it needs to do a little bit more work. Fetch flirting with the line. Downtrend resistance right here. Boom, 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 boom. And what do we got? we've got the price action lead it. Look at this, 2 bullish divergences, 2 more bullish divergences, price action flirting with this level. We still have negative money flow here on the 4 hour though. What does it look like on the 1 hour? Let's look at this on the 1 hour. We see money flow flip positive right here. It's trying to make some headway. And look at this. There's strong buying power coming in on the most recent candle because this flipped from white to green. Stochastics angled up, RSI angled up, a lot of green on the BitLab dashboard for the various signals, saying there's a lot of bullish setups here. And you can see that this candle turned, I believe this candle turned to, why is these not white? Let me do something real quick. Body, white, white and gray. There we go. Yeah, so you see how this candle's teal? This means there's a lot of, there's kind of a lot of buying pressure. It's flashing on and off. We have 40 more minutes of this candle. They're trying to send this higher. We have bulls coming in with the volume down here, you see? So if we're able to actually push out of this and pull back and test this 235 and then launch, that would be phenomenal. But this is looking good. They just had a partnership also with Chainlink, which I think is giving it some bullish highs. And remember, in the matter of, I don't know, let me look. I think it's May 24th. All these things happening, May 22nd, May 23rd, May 24th. I'm telling you, there's so much going on. Remember, there's a merger between Fetch, Singularity, which is AGIX, and Ocean, 3 different powerhouse AI projects. They're going to basically be merging to create one token. It's going to be called ASI. But there's, a lot of things on the horizon for what's happening in this market. So let's pay attention to that. AGIX, also same thing. I mean, kind of attacking. This one actually already broke out a bit. Let's go to the 4 hour. Nope, it's right on it. Option T, get that trend line. Look at that, fighting with it. If we're able to take this out, I'd be watching for a little bit of trouble here, the $1.05 sort of range. It would start at right at $1.02, which is these previous highs, but I'll be looking for a price action, potential small short-term time frame reversal here, test back down, and then continuation up. If we lose this, I'll be watching for a test down to either 92 cents or potentially even down to 89, which is the trend signal line and the weekly VWAP. Ocean, let's look at Ocean. Same thing. It's like they're forming the same patterns because probably people are trading them the same because of what's coming with their merger. Look at these bullish divergences, called this ridiculously bullish signal, and then the divergences up. We broke through the trend signal line. We broke through the weekly VWAP. We still have negative money flow, but we had a lot of buying pressure in through here. Price action came up, look, came down, retested above the weekly VWAP. That's very bullish when you don't have to test all the way back down to it. But then we got 2 bullish divergences and then 2 more bullish divergences, and we're being held hostage right here by this descending level of resistance. If this is taken out, we're looking again, like up here, $4, we'll just call it $4. Injective. How many of you out there are injective holders? Let's see my people. So many of you here in the chat are here on a daily basis. I love you guys. I appreciate you all. Make sure you're hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and dinging the bell. I really appreciate it. It's a great way to help support the channel. Yeah, I mean, just what did I? Oh, injective. There we go. Look at that. We had 2 different ideas for descending trend lines for resistance. And they came together. What happened? Price action lost it, rejected the weekly VWAP, went back through the weekly VWAP, and didn't even need to test all the way down to it. It came down and bounced on this zone. And now we're kind of being held hostage, look, by this point of control, where most of injective on this visual screen, this point of control moves. This whole volume profile is based on what you're seeing on the screen. So you'll see as you see how this changes, point of control is up here now based on where we're looking. But when we zoom in back to the smaller time frame, look at where we're having resistance, right on this point of control. If we're able to take this out, I'm looking for price to come up here into the 26.8, 26.9 sort of region. If we lose this, fine. I'm looking for a bounce somewhere in here. If we lose this, some bad things might be going on, but I'm watching for also, look at this move is happening while the money flow is still negative. Wait until this money flow flips positive, and if we start pushing up above this, I do believe that it will. Things are looking good. Things are feeling good. ALGO even starting to make a little bit of headway to the upside. Oops. To the upside. This is on the 4-hour chart. We do have higher lows here on this W formation. Almost a triple bottom, actually. 1, 2, 3. But see this? Now it's pushing up. We've gotten through the weekly VWAP, and we're contending with roughly about where this level is, these previous range lows. See these previous range lows? That's the area that we are struggling with right now. So if we can clear this, next stop is going to be up here in the 19 cent, 19.15 sort of range. But if we lose it, I'd really like this to bounce above 1772, which is the weekly VWAP. But that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm feeling. I love you guys. Again, I want you guys to participate. It's a great way to help, the channel and our partners, and making sure you always have your VPN on, no matter what exchange you're using, no matter what platform you're using, especially if it has anything to do with crypto. Again, I always set mine to Lithuania or Brazil, just so nobody can identify where I'm at. I'm talking about hackers and all this bad stuff. Make sure it's a smart, you got to have a VPN on. With that being said, also make sure you head over to this tweet right here. I'm going to tweet it again. Retweet this is a great way to help make sure that we can keep the lights on, because it makes our channel partners happy when our people are participating. So retweet this. You're also going to be entered to win $100 USDT, which will be drawn next week. To be entered to win. Go and retweet this sucker right now. Check in on this link with your VPN on. Big love. I appreciate you guys. And now with that, I just gotta, if you are new here, we got this great deal going on right now. So I'm just going to share this with you guys as we wrap this out. What's up, everybody? I'm Kelly Kellum from the BitLab Academy, and I'm thrilled to announce we've expanded our team and have an incredible offer we want to share with you right now. We've onboarded a handful of new, very well-known, talented leaders like Joshua Jake into our space here in BitLab Academy to help advance our mission, building the most vibrant, knowledgeable, and fast-growing community in the cryptocurrency realm. And to celebrate the Bitcoin halving that just passed, we're offering an incredible offer for all of you. This offer is for both new and existing members, and we're offering half-month, 15-day free trial with complete access to our exclusive VIP community, our premium channels. But that's not all. After your trial, you'll continue to enjoy a full membership at the incredible rate of just $25 a month. That's about a 33% discount from our full pricing, with no contracts and the freedom to cancel anytime. This is the full VIP premium community experience, which includes access to expert insights, daily curated crypto content, watch lists, gems, callouts, premium member streams, and more, so much more, keeping you ahead of the trends. Participate in our weekly breakdowns and live sessions for premium members, where you can ask direct questions to our experts, get to check up on your TA, ask about hidden gems, dive into detailed technical analysis, chart breakdowns, and trading strategies tailored for any market condition. From my early days as an analyst on the Crypto Jeb Show, to hosting the Crypto Answered podcast, to now leading the BitLab Academy here at Discover Crypto, the journey has been remarkable, and I want to make sure that you embark on a profitable crypto journey, and it's only, for all of us, just the beginning. We're committed to ensuring you expand your knowledge by learning from the best, enhancing your understanding of the market, gaining valuable insights to make informed decisions, growing your portfolio positively, and even forging lasting friendships. We're one big family here where everyone's voice matters, and this is your chance to join a community that values growth, empowerment, and collaboration. Don't miss out on this unprecedented offer, as this extraordinary deal is going to go away in a matter of days. It's our way of welcoming you into the BitLab family with this incredible having half month free, then 33% off deal for just $25 per month. Just click the link below to join the BitLab community and claim your access today and lock in this reduced price offer for the life of your account before this offer goes away. Can't wait to see you inside, and let's all embark on this crypto journey together. Let's be profitable. Let's do it. Click that link below, and we'll see you inside. I love you guys. I appreciate you. That's one of the ways we keep our lights on. I want to make sure that all of you can keep your lights on, not only for yourself, but for your family, and navigate this market in the most meaningful way so that you could be profitable, knowing how to manage your portfolio, knowing how to pick coins, chatting with us, breaking down TA. That's all, you know, we got John Dalton, Corduroy, myself, Alex Green, Alexander G. There's so many people in there. John Dalton and Corduroy always sharing so much great alpha. I've been a little distracted this last week with a bunch of back-end stuff, but I'm heading back to Atlanta tomorrow. I'll be back in the studio on Monday, and we're gonna be doing a bunch of member streams next week. I gotta make it up to you guys. So get in there. You can sign up for free, 15 days free. It's in the pinned comment at the top. It's lab.bitlabacademy.com/Kelly. I love you guys. Take advantage of this deal while it's there, and I'll see you. We have a great interview coming out tomorrow as well. It's Web3. It's also a little bit of an in-depth on Galactix and some of the stuff that they're doing. So big shout out to them. The link for them is in that tweet that I shared with you guys. It's also in the description down below. With that, I hope you all have a phenomenal day. Find gratitude, touch grass, get some sunshine in your eyeballs. And sometimes you just got to be patient. This market is starting to you know, not only starting to, it's been setting up the most bullish scenario I've ever seen for the last few years, and it's coming to fruition right now. It just takes some patience. Everybody, before you go, look down below this video right now, and if you have not, hit that like button, drop a like on the way out, and also make sure, if it doesn't say subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. Join us here in the family. That's all I got. Adios, everybody. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Love you guys.